Hey everybody, it's your girl Delight of Fitness. So let's get in the room. I just started this room and I just wanted to share what I basically have been living. And I know. Now, first things first, if you could hear me, click 1. If you can hear me, click 1. Alright, so how's everybody doing? Salutations, sending love from Central America. It's a lot of love out here. With my friends over here, the plants, soursap. So okay, good, you can hear me. Thank you so much, nurse. All right, so you guys seen the title of the room. 5 things that healthy, successful people do that the unhealthy don't. All right, so let's get into it. I have been on this journey for over 30 years of my life. More than half of my life I've dedicated to mental, physical, and spiritual wellness. I've invested in myself. I've went to retreats. I've Costa Rica. I have a bachelor's, a BFA. I'm a cancer exercise specialist. I am a fitness trainer. Worked at Reebok, Equinox, New York Sports Club. I surround myself around people who are smarter than me. Let's just say that. I surround myself with people who are like my think tank. People who have a vision and we have the same vision. I surround myself around people that I not only value, but I love. People who have conversations and I want to be included in that conversation. People like Tony Robbins. Let's say, I've done a couple of his events. Love Tony Robbins. How many of you in here surround yourself around people who elevate you? If you're one of those people, or if you're that person, just click 1 if you're that person that surrounds yourself around a pool of people, like your think tank. How many of you in here? Click 1 if you're that person who surrounds yourself around people who can elevate you. Click 1 if you are in the room and you are somebody who surround yourself, have conversations that's engaging and elevating. Somebody who, as your body, your physical temple, you feed yourself food for the mind, food for the body, so you can enjoy life at its optimum best. How many of you are in this room? If you're in this room, can you please kindly, ever so kindly, just click 1. I want to see who I'm talking to. How many of you invest in yourself and have a business coach? Click 2 if you have a business coach. If you have a fitness coach. If anybody, click 2 if you invest in yourself and you have a fitness coach or business coach, but you hired somebody that can help you with your blind spot. Who am I talking to in this room? Who are these people that invest in themselves? Who are these people? Let me see you. All right, so we got some heavy hitters in here. We got some people, and please share the room. Be so kindly to share the room, because I'm about to pour into you right now. So let's talk about it. Now. Think and Grow Rich. How many of you guys read Think and Grow Rich? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What does your library look like? What's your reading materials? Like Think and Grow Rich. Is anybody reading those kind of books? If you're reading those kind of books that elevate you, click 3. Click 3. If you're that person, hey Houston, that reads information or reads book that's going to elevate you, click 3. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Let's talk about it. Who are these people who invest in their mind? Invest in the mind. Let's talk about that. How many of you guys invest in yourself? Okay, so this is what happens when you hang around people who are successful. They have a regimen. How many of you guys have a schedule? Like when you wake up in the day, you work out, you exercise, you got your daily events for the day. You're goal orientated. You take your life serious. You're going places. You're planning your life. You're not just going by uh, you're spontaneous. You don't have a goal. You kind of just wherever you end up, where the wind blows, that's where you're at. How many of you guys set goals for the day? Set goals for short-term, long-term goals. Who are these people? Click 4 if you're somebody like myself that set goals. And when I say goals, you have what it is, 6 months to a year. Where do you see yourself? Also, daily goals. I'm going to go to the work out at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to make my breakfast. I'm going to help my wife, and I'm going to put the kids, make sure they have their. How many of you guys set goals? Who are these people? Who are these people in here? Press 4 if you're one of those people. Now, what you're seeing are these people who you're seeing, they're highly elevated. They're people who may have a think tank. They hang around people who can elevate them. They don't gossip. They don't waste their time. There's 24 hours in the day. They use their time efficiently. Did you hear what I just said? They use their time efficiently, and that's what successful people do. They have a regimen. They have a schedule. They put themselves on the schedule. All right, so here's one of the things. You guys ready? I'm known for making, she's 62, she said, I'm known for making daily lists of my, okay, see, that's what I like, things to do list. So we got some champs in here. Let me give you guys a shot, acknowledge you. Let's acknowledge you. We got Becky. Becky's in the house. Hey, Linda. We got BB. We got B in the house. Yes. We got Sonia in the house. Sonia says, yeah. We got Fairbanks says 4. Definitely set those goals. We're setting goals. This is kind of like a class that's going to help you rethink and put certain programs into place. So what I tend to do, as somebody who you guys just see me as fitness, what I do to keep my body and my mind going, I have programs. I have goals. I hang around smart people that's smarter than me. Like I can't tell you how many times I'm hanging around Tony Robbins, and every time I hear something uplifting, I write it down. I always have a pen and a paper with me, and I have a little book, and I write things down. I write it down. All right, so here's one of the things that I wrote down while I was sitting under a coconut tree. What are 5 things that people who are healthy and successful do that people who are unhealthy and they don't do? All right, one of the things I noticed is here's one of them that people who are healthy and successful don't say. I'll start tomorrow. Procrastination. They're those people who are unsuccessful. They always procrastinating. They're gonna do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. So they say, hey, yes, number 1, procrastination. People who are successful don't put things off for tomorrow because they're on to the next project. It's on the list of things to do for the day. They knock it out. They have a list, they knock it out, and they deal with tomorrow's new project. So those people who are always procrastinating and saying, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow never comes, that's number 1, procrastination. Number 2, this is a big one. Number 2, taking advice from people who are not qualified. Whoo, my God. Did you hear what I said? People who are successful and healthy don't take advice from people who are not living the life. They're not qualified to give advice. That's like, and I'm going to just say it, I'm a trainer. Now, I'm 56. I've been training and working out. I'm eating the right foods. I'm taking care of myself. I'm not going to go to another trainer and I'm going to say it that's not healthy. Now, when I say not healthy, I'm talking about not eating healthy food, not exercising. They're kind of like training you, and you're asking yourself, who's the trainer? Who's the trainer? Is it you, that person? A lot of times, a lot of people, regardless, they're not living the life. It's hypocrisy. And the bottom line is that you're taking advice from somebody that's really not qualified because they're not living it to give it. And I'm going to just say it. Do as I say. You got to be living the life. You got to be, and they're not qualified. People are not qualified. You're taking advice from somebody who don't have a clue but they're giving you advice and you're taking advice and you're hanging around these people that's not qualified. Let's say a business coach, you're trying to improve your business. You're taking advice from somebody whose business is not even flourishing. They're not flourishing. They don't have a goal. They don't set goals. They have a business, but it's more like a hobby. It's a hobby. And you're taking advice from somebody like that to improve your business. How's that working for you? Now, who am I talking to in this room? How many of you are guilty as charged? And just say it. Take advice from people that's not qualified. Who am I talking to? Click 7 if that's you. You know person's not qualified. They could be your friend or family member, and you wonder why your business or you're not getting healthy. You're taking advice from people who are not qualified. Who in this room am I talking to? Click 7 is that you? Because that's number 2. Not qualified. Now you're wondering why your business is not picking up. You're wondering why you're not losing the weight. You're wondering why, and if anything, you're gaining more weight. And if anything, you're taking advice from somebody not qualified. Now your business is even worse than it was before you even started talking to this person. They're not qualified to help you. All right, that's number 2. Taking advice from people who are not qualified. Oh, all right. Yeah. Raise your hand. Be honest. This is transparency. This is a safe space. All right. Number 3. You ready for number 3? Ooh, this is going to bite you guys in the buns. But I'm going to tell you. Number 3 is picking a spouse. You pick a spouse that don't support you. That's number 3. Picking a spouse that does not support you. Who am I talking to in this room? Click 8 and don't be ashamed. Tell the truth. How many of you in the past or how many of you right now have picked a spouse that's just not very supportive? They're not supportive. You're trying to, improve yourself, improve your health. They know you're trying to improve your health. They're bringing donuts in the house. You trying to change and improve your health. Here they come with the donuts. Or they'll ask you, hey, while you go into the shopping center, can you pass by and get me like a McDonald's? Stop by McDonald's and drive through it and get me a Happy Meal, or whatever, something like that. So you pick a spouse who's not supportive. Don't support it. Don't see your vision. And even if they didn't, that's okay. But they're not being supportive. That's number 3. Lay it in the chat room. Talk to me, people. Lay it in the chat room. Tell the truth if that's you. This is why you're not where you should be, and you're not successful, and you're unhealthy, is because you're not hanging around people who could help you. And I'm going to tell you number 4. All right, you ready for this one? Who's ready? If you're ready for number 4, just raise your hand. Give me a hand symbol. If you're ready for number 4, give me the hand symbol so I can get into it. We're going to get into it. This is 2023. I'm going to tell you this way. And the reason why I'm doing this, so you don't have to blame other people, because you're choosing these people in your life. So this is called being accountable. I'm your accountability partner. I'm going to lay it on you. All right, come on now. Let's get with it. All right. You ready for number 4? You ready? I see you ready. Oh, this is a big one. All right. Here's what you do. That people who are successful, 5 things that people that are successful and healthy do that the people who are unhealthy and unsuccessful don't do. You avoid discomfort. Whoo, big one. That one came out of the park. That's like Yankee Stadium. I just threw that out of the park. Avoiding discomfort. Oh, man. Wow. If I had $1 for every person I met that gave up on their dreams because it was uncomfortable. And this is, you guys don't even give it a chance, not even a week. After a week, you say, I'm going to do the business. Then after a week, when you experience discomfort, you go back as a creature of habit. You're uncomfortable. When you experience discomfort, you give up on your dreams. You give up on you. You give up on New Year's resolution. You want to lose the weight. It's uncomfortable for you. You got to go out of your way to pour into you. It's uncomfortable for you to invest in yourself. So it's uncomfortable. You're not worth it. What you're saying is that, you said you was going to lose the weight. You said you was going to make, invest in your business. But when things get too hot and too uncomfortable for you, when it gets uncomfortable, you bail out on yourself. You bail out. I can't do this. What was I thinking in the beginning? I mean, I can't. This is way out of my comfort. Out of my. I don't know what I'm doing. Instead of investing in yourself, and instead of taking classes, instead of going and doing little things to create and to get close to your goal, when it gets too uncomfortable, you bail out. Can't do this. How many of you? Give me 9. Who am I talking to? Who are these? Safe space. Lay it on me. Give me number 9. This is number 9. We're also doing the test. Number 9. Click number 9 if anytime, successful people, when they're uncomfortable, they step into the discomfort. And basically it becomes comfortable. And they keep stepping. And discomfort doesn't just happen once or twice. Anytime you own a business or anytime you're changing your body, I've been training for 30 years. There is discomfort. There is times when I feel uncomfortable about doing an exercise, but I do it anyway. So, okay, you got 9. So if those of you, we're going to do a survey. If I'm going to do a survey, so click 9 and be honest. You're not lying to me. I don't get anything out of this. I'm trying to pour into you why I am in the position that I am in. Is why I'm so successful in my health, and even in me relocating from the States and living in my dream world. Is because I was uncomfortable. It's changes. But if I stayed in my comfort zone, I would still be in the States, not living my dream and being able to assist you in your consumption. All right, that's number. Avoiding discomfort. Terrible. All right, the next one is, hold up. Ooh, man, I got so many. All right, here's what you do. Ooh, that one's going to hurt somebody. We're going to stay with that one. All right, I got this one. I'm trying to see which one. I got so many. I'm trying to break it down. All right, here's the big one, and I think a lot of you guys can relate to it. And it's something that I had to, it was challenging for me. I actually have 20 things written down, but I'm only going to break down 5. I'll probably share it in intervals, but I'm going to do 5 for right now. All right, you ready for this one? Oh, man, it's kind of big. There's so many juicy ones. Oh, man. Okay. Crabs in a barrel. Crabs in a barrel. Now, we hang around, and you know it, and we're all guilty of it, because I did it myself. I could have been here 10 years ago. I should have been here 10 years ago. But crabs in a barrel. I was hanging around people who didn't have the vision, people who didn't see what I saw, and I kept holding on, and that we would see it together. And anytime I spoke my vision to somebody, they said that's impossible. That can never happen. They kept shooting me down. And now, years later, I don't have animosity towards them. I have compassion, because they didn't have the vision for themselves. So how many of you guys are hanging around people who don't share your vision, but anytime you share it with them, they shoot it down, like crabs in a barrel? So let's just call it crabs in a barrel. If that's you, just click 10. Click 10. Just give me 10. Just give me 10. 10. Say 10. If it's you and you're hanging around, let's just call it crabs in a barrel. All right, we got somebody that says something. Anytime you deal with crabs in a barrel, this is Lover. Crabs in a barrel. Crabby people who like to pull you back down into the pack. You move yourself away from them. They mean you no good. I've been in the same situation, similar situations, so I know. All right, thank you so much. So this is for you. Click 10. If that's you, click 10. Now we're going to survey it up. I'm going to say the 5 things one more time. If that is you, if 3 out of 5 is you, let's just say count how many things pertain to you. All right, I'm going to say it. Number one is procrastinate. If that pertains to you, put it on your chart and just make that. All right, procrastinate. Number two is take advice from people who are not qualified to help you. Take advice from. Put that on your paper if that pertains to you. Number three, pick a spouse who doesn't support you. Number three, if that's you, just put it on the paper if it pertains to you. Put it on the paper. You got a spouse. You picked a spouse who doesn't support you. Number four, you avoid discomfort. If that's you, just put it on the paper. Put it on the paper. No judgment. No judgment. Just you avoid discomfort. Something gets uncomfortable. Discomfort. You just kind of walk away from it. It's not working, even after just a week. If that's you. And number five, crabs in a barrel syndrome. If you are someone, for some uncanny reason, hangs around people who don't elevate you, that's pulling you down, just put that on your sheet. Just put that on your sheet. Now, we did 5 things. We had a list of 5. How many of you, and just raise your hand, out of the 5, one of them applied to you? Just one. Just out of the 5, just one applied to you. I'm sorry, just click one instead of hands up so I know what number. Click one. Click the one. If you are out of the 5 that I called out, one pertains to you. One. Just click one. If that's you, just click one. So out of the 5 that I named, if one pertains to you, click one. If 2 out of the 5 pertains to you, click the number 2. If 3 of the things that I listed pertains to you, click 3, put 3. And if 4 of these things have your name on it, click 4. And if all 5 is you, put down 5. All right, let's tally it up. Okay, let's tally it up. All right, everybody in the room. Yep. Actually 4. So Carmen said actually 4. Tro says 4. We got some 4s. We got some 3. Gus. All right. Let's see. We got the numbers. And be honest. We got some 2s in here. Lovin says 2. Donnie says 1. Princess says 2. Graham says 3. Fearbank says 2. Veggie says 1. All right, so we tallied it up. Now, if you, 3 out of 5, if you click 3, you have some work to do. You basically, the reason why you are not moving out of and elevating and ascending to live your fullest life and success, whether it be business or your health, is because you are a number 3. If you're a number 3, you have more holding you back than pulling you up. So you're hanging around, and that needs to be fixed. As someone who solves problems, you need to, or not. If you're comfortable in that position and it's working for you, then so be it. But if you're in a position where you see this and you want more for yourself, and this is on this list, if there's something that you can do to elevate yourself and to remove yourself out of a certain circle or to do better, like for example, procrastination. Start to, make a list in a day of what things need to be done and knock it out. That's what I do. So that could be dealt with. Picking a spouse, that's a tricky one. I'm not going to touch that, but avoiding discomfort, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like I got to tell you, even as an entrepreneur, there's always things that I'm uncomfortable with. And I think for me, I've gotten used to, being uncomfortable because things are always going to happen. So I kind of just, and I don't take it personal. I kind of just take it on the hip and get up and keep moving. And I got to tell you guys, it's not how many times you fall down And I fall down a lot. And I'm being extremely transparent right now, because I feel, as a fitness person, and a lot of you guys must be saying, why is she talking about this? Because it all pertains to my discipline with my body. The way I carry my body, and the way I go to the gym and I work out and I eat food, is how I feed my brain. Also, as a person who owns a business, once I take care of my body is a manifestation of how I show up in the world. And what I put in my body to maintain, to make sure I'm not taking medication. I take care of myself. I take care of my business. So what you're seeing is who I am authentically: my business, my body, what I put in my mouth, and the conversations that I'm having. Now, this conversation is making people uncomfortable. A lot of people have wiggled away from discomfort. We talked about that. We talked about a lot of times when people know that they have to do something to be proactive and change, that's procrastination. And also, people are uncomfortable. If this conversation makes them uncomfortable, because that means that they have to work on themselves. And a lot of people are uncomfortable with change. So, and a lot of times, and as a person who's a coach, and I actually work towards people becoming the best version of themselves, these are the conversations that I have with my clients. I'm the coach. I'm the one that revs them up to get them ready to be the best version of themselves. And one of the ways of preparing for transition of change is the renewal of one's mind. It's about mind. That's why a lot of times when people go to Tony Robbins, they go because they're looking for, it's a mastermind. So they're changing their thoughts, their mental state, on how they relate and see the world. For me, as a fitness coach, it's bigger than being a fitness coach. It's how I show up in the world, in this avatar, and it's how I see my business. So everything that you're seeing with me, even for me to transition from the States to another country and to live my best life ever, and still, at 56, loving and living my best life, it takes work. It takes me being uncomfortable. It wasn't easy for me to pack my stuff up from the States, leave my family, and come here. But because I wanted to be happy, my happiness outweighed my discomfort. So a lot of you guys, in order to be successful, it doesn't happen through osmosis. You got to do the work. It's like strengthening that muscle of being uncomfortable. And I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. A lot of people say, hey, Delilah, how do I eat healthy? How do I do this? And I understand you have to start somewhere, but you need to hang around people who live the life. Because for me, and I'm doing the 7-day raw vegan challenge right now with some beautiful spirits, some amazing women, and their intentions is to stay healthy. So I'm their accountability partner. So we meet up every night at 7:00. But what happens is, and I did this last year, is that when I did the 7-day raw vegan challenge last year, 97% of the people who started eating cleaner went right back to eating what they were eating that was making them sick. So they got better. A lot of them got off the medication. They started getting more energy. But because they didn't have a community of people that was pouring into them, and they didn't have an accountability partner and a coach, they couldn't do it on their own. And I'm going to tell you, being in the industry for over 30 years, people need help. You can't do it by yourself. I've watched, in the 30 years of me being a coach, I've watched people get some workout exercise, like a schedule, like what you need to be doing, but they don't stay with it. People don't stay with it because they're not getting the support. And the bottom line is that a lot of people don't have community. So if you're living in a house where people are not eating healthy and they're not really being interested in their physical form as far as being healthy, that's going to be very difficult for you to maintain that quality of life. So what I do, and I think it's needed, is not just give you an exercise program or a consumption program. I'm with you every step of the way. I do believe, and I have created communities so people can have conversations and stay in the conversation. So success is being part of a community, a think tank, being around people who think like you, who are comfortable with discomfort, where if something in their business should happen, they land on their feet. They're not breaking down and crying because, oh, the business deal didn't go through or this happened. When you get lemons, you make lemonade. I'm the type of person that if that plan A doesn't work, I keep moving. I keep moving and I reinvent myself to be the best version of who I am. So I just wanted to share those 5 tidbits with you. I hope it was helpful. If it was helpful, just raise your hand. Raise your hand if it was helpful for you. And this applies not only in fitness, but in your daily life, in relationships with not only your spouse, but with your kids. Can you hold your word to yourself and to thyself be free, to thyself be true? This applies itself in when you're going to the job. Now, a lot of you guys, and I've spoken, and you guys spoken, have issues, you feel discomfort at the job, but how do you turn something from discomfort to comfort? And my thing is that regardless of what's going on at your place of employment or whatever, it's how you show up in the world. It's like, okay, do the bare minimum. And I find that people just do the bare minimum. But if you are at a job and you're going to be there the majority of the day, do something nice. Like when you start doing nice things, like whatever your job is, like start bringing like apples to everybody. Say, hey, I have an apple here. I don't need, I eat fruit. So with me being raw vegan, when I'm around people, I bring apples or bananas and share my lifestyle with other people. Sometimes, people like, thank you so much, but it's just me being myself because I love to give and I love to help. So when I come to people's homes, I bring like a watermelon or I bring something that we could have a healthy discussion and a healthy meal. I don't go to restaurants that much because I end up going to places where if I do go to a restaurant, I call ahead of time to make sure that I could eat something on the menu. But otherwise than that, it's hanging around people who are basically elevating themselves and having conversations that is going to uplift you. So if you're hanging around people or environments that's not very ascending, that you're not growing, then that's a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, why you're not successful is because you're not hanging around success. Success has a different language. It doesn't say I can't. It says I will do it. I'll try it. But success even have different relationships with money. People who have unhealthy. I had to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad about money. I had a very unhealthy relationship about money and self-esteem. I thought money was evil. Oh, the root of all evil is money. Money doesn't grow on trees, and that really threw me off because money does grow on trees. It's paper. And also money is not evil. Because I make a certain amount of income, I can give back to someone who doesn't have it. So by me being successful helps other people, allows me to be in a position where I can give. And when I'm giving to other people because I have been given to, it makes me happy to know that I'm part of the solution. So by me elevating myself allows me to elevate my community and to be in a position where I can authentically better somebody else's life. So that's what money does for me. It helps me. I'm living in Central America. There's people who don't have shoes and they have an outhouse. There's some people who can't afford to go to school. So by me having a certain amount, I get to help other people increase and improve their life. And that's giving back to the community. And that's what it's all about. Money doesn't make you evil, and money is not a bad thing. It's not the money that's evil. If the person is not a nice person, the person's not a nice person. That has nothing to do with the money. And also make sure you price yourself accordingly. A lot of times, based on low self-esteem, you so badly want to be liked or somebody to have your product, you as far as break-even analysis, you're not even breaking even on your costs. And this is what happens to people, especially artists, because a lot of you guys don't know it, but I am an artist. I'm a jewelry designer. I have a line of jewelry, Masani Wearable Art. I'm on Etsy, and I sell my jewelry, but I'm a silversmith, so I set diamonds. And I set my price accordingly, and I don't go any lower than my equipment. Like if I charge any lower, I'm taking money out of my business, which means I'm not going to be in business. So I don't go any lower than cost. And there's a mathematical equation for breaking even analysis. And for any artists or somebody who who is in a position of pricing their goods, definitely I have a whole lecture that I do. Just hit me up. It's on teachables. I have also have a course on teachables where I do cost effective analysis and breaking even, but the whole thing, there's more to me than meets the eye. But I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, and I just wanted to share some of the secrets that have worked for me. I'm hoping that it works for you. So without further ado, I'm going to answer one or two more questions, and then I'm going to go. Any other questions? I will hit. Yeah, see, I was an artist too, because I went to Pratt and I got my bachelor's of fine arts, and I started out as a fine artist, and I used to sell jewelry on the streets of Soho in New York, and I priced myself out because I wasn't even getting the cost for the equipment. I was so happy for people to wear my jewelry that I was broke most of the times. And then I had my jewelry in Macy's. I had it in Bergdorf Goodman. A couple of stores. I had it in a couple of boutiques in Soho. But what happened is that as far as Keystone and pricing myself and wholesaling, I was just so happy that Macy's picked up my line of jewelry that I sold under. I couldn't even pay for the cost of the supplies, because I was young. I was in my 20s. You know, I was an artist in my 20s, living in New York on the Lower East Side and being in Soho and, you know, and in Chelsea area. And I couldn't afford to, so I had to get a job. I was a starving artist. So I know what it's like to not price yourself. And I know what it's like to have to get a job. And it's painful because I love designing art. I'm a wonderful jewelry designer, and I make wedding ring custom made work. But I had to stop doing what I love to get a job. And that was very painful for me. I still do jewelry. I still have my boutique on Etsy, doing very well because I have repeat customers, you know, and now it's word of mouth. People talk about Masani Wearable Art, but I've been doing it for years. So wanted to share that with you guys. And I have two businesses, a Delilah Fitness LLC and Masani Wearable Art LLC. So I'm an LLC company. All right, so somebody says, I was just telling my daughter this yesterday. I told her to know her worth. She has low self-esteem. She is in theater arts and accepted this role that I know is way below her talent. This is Samuels. Well, I gotta say, when I was a kid in New York and I went to art school, I was kind of like a hippie, that I did it for the people, and I did it, you know, I was a kid in 19, I had 10 roommates. So I wasn't really, and all because I didn't have a concept of money. I had a concept as an artist to create, but and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't see as an artist, why should we charge people for my gift? And that's one of the things in art school, they don't teach you that art is a business. So I went around doing art, and I gave away a lot of my art, and I gave it away for nothing. And at the end of the day, I was homeless. I was homeless because I couldn't afford to even pay my bills and maintain. I was living on oodles and noodles when I was 19, you know, and then went into the dorms to college, went to Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, got a bachelor's of, BFA. But I do remember going to art school and not knowing how to do business. And I find that across the board, artists do not have a healthy relationship with pricing their creativity. So it took me years. At 56, I do have a course for that. I do teach that on Teachables. Definitely get into that. But also, as far as your health, and I'm saying this as a person who's in the fitness industry that has been in this for 30 years. Take advantage of the 5 tips that I gave you, and really I'm gonna put this video up so you can replay it, I'm not gonna, go through the whole 5 things, but I'll every now and then I'll break in and share some information. But for those of you who took the live, I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you take this information and run with it. And that's pretty much it. Just wanted to share that tidbit of information. And enjoy your day. All right, guys? Peace.